on, I don't have sound here. 1 second. Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. Hopefully you are hearing me okay. So please do confirm and say hello. And if this is your first time joining us, just so you know, there's prizes for participation. So make sure you say hello. There's no prizes for people who just lurk. Just so you know, there's no winning when you lurk today. All right, so hello, I'm so excited to have you all here. I want to introduce my team that's here. So I see a couple of them are hiding. I don't know if they thought they weren't going to come on camera today. So first of all, well, I'll start with Sarah because I can tell she's in the festive spirit today. So Sarah,
see my tie. It's here, but you can't see it.
So let's have her say hello. She was holding something up on her neck. What have you got there?
I've got my holiday tie on. It's hard to see, but it's there.
You. Are you guys hearing her? I don't hear her. Hold on.
We can hear you, Julie, but it sounds like you can't.
Yeah, I hear you fine, Sarah.
My sound. It could be me. Yeah. It's probably me.
Yeah, it's you.
I can introduce Jacqueline while you get the rest of that out. You work that out.
You, but yeah,
she can't hear me.
Are you guys hearing her? Jacqueline, are you hearing her?
Yeah, I can hear her fine.
Shake.
Yeah.
You are hearing her.
Yes.
And you're hearing me.
Yes.
I just can't hear anything.
Correct.
This could be fun. Sign language. Communicate with me by sign language. Okay. All right. Let me see. I might change up my setup here. So if you guys are hearing Sarah or Jacqueline, I'll leave it to you guys for a minute while I figure out my sound. Oh, Melissa unhid too. So will you introduce the team while I figure out what's going on with my system?
I can handle that. Okay. So also also joining us from the Book Lunchers team, we've got Jacqueline Kyle, who is our client care manager.
Hello, everyone. So happy to see you.
And let's see, who else is here? I see Ashley Catone, who is our master of words. She is our marketing copywriter. So all of the magic that comes out of our marketing copies originates with Ashley. Hi. And then let's see, who else do I see? I see Melissa Sobey, who's another one from our client care team. So she is the shepherdess of all of our projects. Shepherdess, is that a word?
Everyone. Shepherdess is a word.
I made that into a word. And then I see Angela Jones, who is sort of a master of operations, a great hat. And are those some rosy sunglasses?
These are orange sunglasses, so they're not festive, but I do have a festive hat.
They look festive.
Yeah, you can't see it. I've got lights on my shirt.
Nice. And then let's see, is anyone else from the team here?
I was just looking and I'm not seeing, we've got a couple people who do editing but aren't officially on the team. And they don't have their videos active anyway. No. So yeah.
But what I also see is a lot of Julie's YouTube besties. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for our holiday party. And I also see quite a few of our client names, which is great because this is if Book Lunchers was going to throw a holiday party in person, not everybody would be able to come. So it's great to see everybody gathered in one place. Julie, how are you doing on sound?
I can hear you guys now. So thank you. I don't know.
Magic.
I just had to unplug my good mic. So you guys are just going to hear me through the regular AirPods. So that's totally fine. I hope to not be doing all the talking today anyways. And you guys can see I'm not a decorator. Hey, this is how I string my holiday lights.
Yeah, somehow I missed the memo. I do have a Santa hat. I might run and get it. I don't know.
Of course. Well, I see Namita. Is that how I say your name? Namita? Yeah. She's in the festive spirit too. So I love it. All right. So welcome everybody. This is our holiday extravaganza. So we don't have a specific topic. We have questions. We have some that have been emailed in, and then this is your opportunity to ask us questions. We can do kind of hot seat style. So if you want us to brainstorm on a title, you want us to check out your Amazon page, whatever, we can do pretty much anything for the next couple hours. And in between, we are going to give away prizes. And in the style of, the 12 days of Christmas, we have 12 prizes. But first, I have two really important things for you to know. So I already told when we were kind of starting, I said, if you're lurking, you won't win prizes. So you have to chat with us. That's one of the rules. But the other thing is there's two things that are two ways to win outside of the other kind of, skill testing questions. And if you aren't muted, if you can please mute yourself, that would be awesome. And then if you do have questions, we'll unmute you just so everybody can here, not be disturbed by things. I'm trying to mute a couple of you right here. Okay. So first of all, we have super secret swag. This is something we've been talking about. Our YouTube, the YouTube besties know that this is something we've been working on for a while. So we have lots of different swag. And we've got our hashtag no boring books, hoodies. We have mugs. We have journals. And then this year we created something new. And so I am going to give a prize to somebody who guesses what this swag is. And if we're not getting close, I'm going to start giving hints so that we do get a winner before we do the grand reveal. So that's one way. So go ahead and start guessing what this super secret swag could possibly be. So that's one prize. The other prize is there's going to be two prizes for people who post on social media and tag book launchers that you're here for our holiday extravaganza Q&A. So Sarah's going to monitor the social media, even if she didn't know she was going to monitor social media. She knows now.
I'm going to do my best. There's a lot of social media to monitor, but I'm going to do my best.
Specifically, I think if you could stick to Instagram or Facebook, that's probably easiest for us to kind of monitor today. But all you have to do is post a picture of you at this session, or it doesn't even have to be you. Just get creative, tag book launchers, say you're participating in our holiday Q&A extravaganza, and we will put you into the draw for two different prizes for that. So those are two ways. Otherwise, the other way you win is just by being here and participating. So awesome. If you have questions already, you can go ahead and post them. Otherwise, I'm going to start with a question and then we're going to give away a prize. And that'll kind of be how we roll for the next little bit. If we run out of questions, we'll finish early. Otherwise, we will finish at noon Pacific Standard Time. So about just under 2 hours from now. But thank you for being here. It's very exciting to see so many happy faces on a Saturday. Thank you for joining us. I'm in the spirit. Okay. So the first question today is going to be from, and actually we kind of covered this in yesterday's video, but I think we'll do it anyways. So this is from Paula, Paula Johnson. I don't know if she is here. She's in New Zealand, so it might be a crazy time difference for her. But her question was, how do you choose a great title? Are there steps you can suggest to nail a great title? I'm going around in circles with mine. There's 20 different ones and nothing is landing. So I don't know if you're here, Paula, because if you are, we can work on the title a little bit if you want to. Otherwise, I don't know, Melissa, you're kind of our master of titles. Do you want to, is it okay if I just throw it to you?
Sure.
Yeah, book launchers. Yeah, great. We brainstorm our clients' titles. And Melissa is one of the folks behind the scenes that you haven't met before. So thank you for being here, Melissa.
No
and
problem.
she kind of spearheads the whole brainstorming process.
So if you haven't already seen Julie's amazing video on good titles, then check it out on her YouTube page. But one of the things that we do first is we collect some really try to get some good keywords into your subtitle, if nothing else. Your main title is catchy and fun and should grab attention, but the subtitle should offer some kind of a promise of what's to come inside of the book, but it also has keywords so that when people search for certain things in Amazon or in Google, your book might pop up as a search result. So that's one of the things we keep in mind.
Yeah, that's great. And so process wise, I mean, Jacqueline actually had some great advice for one of our clients the other day. I think it was you. Yeah, you were talking about the working. Yeah, actually it was. Can you kind of share that? Because you also had some really cool examples of titles that people started with that weren't the title we ended with.
Oh, I kind of tapped the movie industry for this, which we had a client who was stuck getting started because he felt like he needed to finalize his title. And what I was trying to advise is that our titles in the beginning are working titles. They are, what we save the file name under. And then once you have the scope of what your book is, you're able to dive down a little bit deeper and hone in that title to reflect the entire amount of what your book is. If you are writing a book and you title it X, and then later when you're writing, it turns out it's about XYZ, it can, constrain you and you feel like you can't write that extra piece, which actually should be part of the book. The examples that I gave were from Hollywood, where working titles, Pulp Fiction was originally, the working title was The Black Mask. And as they were working on it, they decided that they needed a title that more embodied the genre than just the idea of there being a Black mask character. Then the Seven Deadly Sins was eventually released as Seven in the movies, in the movie theaters. And the one that I really loved was Come See Us at Rick's, or Come See Rick's, eventually became Casablanca. And I'm pretty sure Neil Bartlett just yelled Casablanca. And it's funny to see like someone say exactly what you're going to say right next. But yes, it eventually the movie became larger and about the city and about what was going on, and it was more than just this little bar. And so, you know, we look at, you know, in the beginning just having a working title, and then later, you know, doing our keyword research, figuring out what people are searching for, and then, you know, finalizing a title, subtitle based on what the market is currently doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think, you know, when you're talking process, I just loved how Jacqueline kind of illustrated this for our client, because you don't have to know your title in the beginning. In fact, most people who come to us who are dead set on their title, by the time we're done the book and we're done editing it, we find a substantially stronger title for the book. And part of that's because the book evolves while you're writing it. And part of it's because often the title that inspired you doesn't actually end up being the best title for the reader. And this is something that Sarah said in the video that we just put out on Friday, which was about the title subtitle combinations, which I highly recommend you do watch if you're stuck on title, because we take you through like, this is what you should have in a title. But you know, she said, you know, you might love that title, but does that title speak to your reader? And really, that is the goal of a title, is the title has to be something that is going to sell your book and appeal to the reader, and ultimately now, really importantly, appeal to the search engines, because your book is most likely to be found online or by referral. And so referral, they have to remember the title and be able to say it, and online they have to be able to type in what they're searching for and find it. So those are kind of two. Yeah, I hear somebody.
I'd love to tell you a story about titles. Napoleon Hill and Woodrow Wilson, the president. Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, one of the most famous books ever written. He was an advisor for Woodrow Wilson and presented it to him, and the name of the book was How to Make Oodles Using Your Noodle. And Woodrow Wilson said, "What's that supposed to mean?" He said, "Well, think and grow rich." And Wilson said, "Then why don't you just call it that?" That's beautiful,
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yes, that's one of my favorite examples too. Thank you. And who's speaking?
This is Rob White.
It is Rob. Okay.
Oh, hi, Rob. You're on
Hi,
your
Rob.
phone, so we couldn't see it. Hi, Rob.
See me because, the Maestro monologue. Thank you, guys. Tim helped me come up with that title, and that is a spectacular. I had Just Who Do You Think You Are, which I thought was clever, and it is, and funny, but kind of cynical, which I liked. But we ended up with the Maestro monologue, which makes total sense once you read the book. And without you guys and your input, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. We appreciate it. Awesome. So I think now is a great time for a prize. And I just got to give a few people a shout out here. So Andy W is in the house, and Kevin McGuire, he got the time zone sorted. So thank you, you guys. Aaron is here. Yay. Mary Lynn, hello. Tanya, Robert Bell, hello from Kenya. It's so great to see you here. And then I had some guesses here, and I saw that somebody thought it's going to be a face covering. So there is no face covering. And for those of you who are just here, we are guessing what the super secret book launcher swag reveal is going to be today. So we've got hoodies, we've got mugs, we've got journals. We've already had pens, although I don't know if we use them that much. I like to go a little bigger than a pen. So I will tell you, there's nothing for face covering. So that is not the swag. It's not a face covering. I saw somebody guessing fridge magnets. It's not a fridge magnet. A little bigger. You got to think a little bigger. Okay. Journal, socks. Socks is a good guess. And we definitely have talked about getting some book launcher socks in the house. All right. Kevin McGuire says tote bags or pens. You're getting closer. That's all I'll say on that. Calendar swag, a cat bowl. Ashley is like, yes,
We have talked about having book launchers mascots. I think it would make sense.
I approve of the cat bowl.
That's awesome. Book keychains, sweatshirts. Well, we've already got hoodies, so I actually don't know what the difference is between a sweatshirt and a hoodie. I guess maybe it would have a zipper.
Sweatshirt is a little thicker. Like,
oh, okay. Yeah, the new ones are actually quite thick. I didn't wear it today because they're too big for me.
so you're
okay.
saying there's new ones.
The new hoodies. Yeah, you guys, I've worn it. I wasn't really a secret, but I don't know. Angela probably can show you. Do you have the new hoodies, Angela? You want to show them? Somebody will win one of these hoodies today.
Yeah, let me go grab one.
Okay, yeah, cool. Thank you. So hats, a signed copy of Julie's book. Oh, Pamela, it's great to have you here. Pamela's one of our fabulous editors. A signed copy of Julie's book. Well, I don't have a copy myself yet. It's coming. I think Jacqueline actually just ordered some yesterday, the print proof yesterday of the new book.
No, not the print proof just yet. That'll be after the holidays, but I did load, which is very exciting.
So yes, we're not giving away signed copies of my book yet, but it's coming. I'm very excited. Book launchers, temporary tattoos. I think you want that because I think you keep guessing that, Jacqueline.
It's the most ridiculous thing that I would love to have.
So Angela was just holding up the new hoodies that we have that are thicker. So, but just a heads up, if you do win this today, the sizing is they're large. So normally I wear a medium, and I have the medium, and it's huge. The medium fits my husband, so the sizing is a little wonky on these ones. Okay, so our first prize it was for the guessing. Nobody is quite there yet, so let's go on to the second prize, which will be for the person who tells us the YouTube milestone that we just crossed and that we're celebrating on Tuesday. So the first person to tell us that will be
Mike
the winner.
Hurd got it.
Oh, instant. Oh, YouTube
Very
bestie.
quick.
Of course. And my YouTube besties are all in a special draw for the new swag because they've all already won all the swag. So Mike, you
Julie, can I interject?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Someone did actually guess the secret swag.
Oh, they did. Okay, I'll get to that.
Was it Robert Bell who guessed it's a framed picture of the book launchers team? That was my favorite guess. Robert, we're just going to send you one.
We're going to have to Photoshop it.
Yeah, that's true.
Photoshop us
Yeah,
all.
we have
That makes it more fun, though. That makes it more fun because we can have all kinds of fun putting that together.
Who wouldn't want
Where's Cassie? We need her to do it.
Okay, so sorry, back to Mike. There, you can choose. You can have a choice between two different books. And I will turn it over to Sarah to tell you what the two books are. The first two on my list were Don't Retire, Graduate by Eric Brotman and Todd Nyholm's Food, Why Do You Trouble Me? So if you want to give people an overview of these two so then they know which one to choose from.
Absolutely. So this came out in October this year. It's Don't Retire, Graduate from Eric Brotman, who's the host of the Don't Retire, Graduate podcast and the CEO of a big financial services firm out on the East Coast. And basically, Eric's whole approach to retirement is that we need to toss out the old model of retirement, which just means you kind of limp along and work until you get to your 60s, and then they kind of put you out in retirement, and then it's sort of the last phase of your life. Eric says no. Retirement is all about choosing whether or not you want to work, and it happens when you want it to happen. So this book is a preparedness guide for pretty much any age. The subtitle is Building a Path to Financial Freedom and Retirement at Any Age. And the fun thing about this book, what I love about Eric's approach, is that he made getting ready for retirement similar to taking college courses. So the book is split up into freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year with courses so on all sorts of things from debt management to cash flow to insurance to preparing for family and kids, or if you already have those, what to do when you want to move on. So this is a really, really great resource for anyone interested in financial freedom. The next one is by Todd Nyholm. This is Off Food, Why Do You Trouble Me So Much? 14 mental and emotional steps before you take another bite. And this book is all about the body, mind, food connection. It's not about your next diet or trying to feel better. It's about building your immunity and intuitive eating, mindful eating. And so Todd is a holistic somatic therapist and wrote this book based on how food makes your body feel as a whole. if you're having trouble losing weight, if you have problems with your immunity, if you're having certain problems and things, it can normally all be tied back to your diet. And so this book is a great example that food and diet, it's not one size fits all. It's about your mental and emotional connection to your food. So this is a great one. So I think, and just as an aside, this is one of my favorite all-time covers we've ever done, is Todd Nyholm's book. It's such a beautiful, vibrant cover. It just grabs you. So
That's
that
awesome.
being said, yeah, I think Mike said he wanted Don't Retire, Graduate. So
okay, so Mike, yeah, so just email team, TEAM @booklaunchers.com with your mailing address. I know you've won before, but we don't keep your mailing addresses on hand. So Angela will get that off to you. So
GDPR. Thank you.
Oh, I was like, I hear voices, but that was Mike. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Writing your name on it right now. Got it.
Perfect. And sorry, just checking here. So Angela, I see actually quite a few people got it right. So who got it first?
Mary Lynn Turner.
All right. So I feel like there should be a drum roll, but
we don't even know what this is. The Book Launchers team doesn't even know what this is.
Like, ooh,
nobody got it yet? It hasn't come in the mail?
No.
Oh, all right. So this is their first look. Angela and I are the only people that know this.
No way.
The new swag is hashtag no boring books backpack, and it is really cool. It opens up fully in the back, so it's like, it's almost like a briefcase. Like it opens up like this, so it lays flat, and it's got some really great pockets and essential for hydrating. It's got your water bottle pockets, and yeah, I'm so excited for you guys to get this. This is the new swag. That's why I said you have to think a little bigger than a fridge magnet.
Nice, I love it.
So the chance to win is not today. We're going to keep you waiting for winning it. On Tuesday, for the 25,000 YouTube subscriber, we're going to be giving that away. But Mary Lynn Turner, you can choose. So I don't know if you've won before. If you haven't won, you can choose between a mug or a journal. But if you have won those before, then we can give you a choice between Eric Brotman's book or another book. So you can let us know there. But congratulations. Yay. So team, nobody on my team guessed that, just so you guys know. We've been teasing them about this for 4 months. They didn't know. Stuart, do you have your hand up? You want to say something? You can go ahead and unmute. We can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. So the question I wanted to ask was to pick up on the title and the search engines picking up on the subtitle. If you could maybe give us a little bit of insight on the search engines and how they work, because, you know, I worked in a corporation, we had a website, you know, my department created, and the web crawlers on websites look across the whole website and pick out keywords. And so when people are doing searches, whatever, but in the book world, when you go to a self-publishing outfit, they basically say you got 7 spaces to put keywords. So I don't know how the search engines go beyond those 7 keywords. Do they go across the blurb that you have on the back of the book? Do they go across the whole book? And so, you know, how, because those things are critical in terms of how to create visibility if you're self-publishing.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for the question. I'll start, and then if Jacqueline or Sarah want to chime in. So first, we do keyword research, and this is actually something else Melissa does too. So if you want to jump in on this too, you can, Melissa, but we do keyword research specific to Google and to Amazon. And so we use a couple of different tools for doing all of that research, and specific to your listings on the various book websites. Why we do the Google research is because certain keywords, oh, sorry. I heard some people. Oh, Fitz does. Okay. Did I get your early? I saw it, Kevin, but I didn't write it down. So so Fitz, I'll let you unmute 1 sec.
All right, I'm unmuted.
Okay, great.
So my question is, if we want to sell books to a corporation, and so I have a memoir about my cancer comeback, and I think there's possibly some cancer treatment facilities that might be able to utilize the book for patient support. is it the marketing person? I mean, how do you guys approach that when you say, hey, this book would be relevant to your people, want to make a bulk order? Is it as simple as that, or any tips?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different things, and it's a process that we're actually really refining, because we don't have one way, and I don't know if there actually is one way to do it. LinkedIn is a great place to kind of source people and try to connect and try to see. Otherwise, the marketing person can be, but it depends on the hook of your book and what problem you're going to pitch them to solve with the book. So, I mean, I know yours is on the fitness kind of side of things. What would you, if you were going to approach a marketing person, what do you think the offer would be for them?
Well, an inspirational comeback tale. I find cancer patients said, I'll say, God, I wish I had this when I was diagnosed. And so something when, you have, I mean, I don't know, I incurred $1 million worth of treatment last year, and they treat, I think, close to 100,000 people at this cancer facility. So one would think perhaps they would, upon diagnosis, say, here, this is one of our, if it were my cancer treatment facility, here's one of our patient success stories with a bunch of tips and tricks to help you get through this, like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
I would like them to maybe buy it and provide it to their patients.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. I think the challenge is getting it to them. And so that's where, it can be great to use tools like LinkedIn, social media, to try to get their attention initially, and to kind of present yourself as a success story that they can use in their marketing, and that you have a book that can also facilitate that. Because you can mail it to them. That certainly is one thing that we do. We create letters and we mail it out. But that often you don't know if anything's happened, right? You don't know if they actually got it or what. And now with COVID, one of the challenges is you mail it to the office. Do they actually get it, right? Because who's working out of the office? So there's a few challenges. What do you want to add to that, Sarah?
I would say that for a treatment specifically, and this is specifically to your question, and this isn't going to apply to every single one, but I would say that when companies are looking to buy books in bulk, if there's a way that it's going to benefit their employees, like it's going to make their employees better at their job, then I can see that angle working over handing it to their patients, because patients already have enough to deal with, right? They're going through stress, and they, getting a book and the welcome packet may not be the first thing that they pick up. They've got a lot of other things, but if your book has an angle that is going to help their employees be more efficient at their jobs, then that's something you can approach a company with and say, here are how it's going to set your treatment center apart. This is the tools. These are the tools it's going to give your employees. And that I would look at that kind of angle.
And which person within a company would you reach out to for that? Who would be the bottom?
I mean, yes, you want to look at like either their marketing department, or you would want to look at if they have a talent development department, so HR, anyone who is working on how they as a company can become stronger. So if they don't have a dedicated talent department, which I would assume that a treatment center may not, you want to look at who is in charge of hiring.
Okay. Good suggestions. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So we had, I don't think Marilyn Turner came back, so we'll go back to our prize fun. And then we'll ask, there's a couple other questions in here, so we'll come back to that. All right, so we were gonna do the 19th. We were gonna do the 19th comment from the first time around. Unfortunately, that's all gone. So let's see, do we have 19 comments? Angela, if you wanna take a look and see who our 19th commenter is right now, that would be great. And that person will be our next to get a prize. Okay, so let's see. Next question. Andy said, how long or short should the subtitle be? And sorry, I'm getting a ton of messages from people that are trying to figure out how to get back into the Zoom. So I'll have to take a moment to respond to everyone and make sure they get the link. So how long should your subtitle be? I mean, one of the considerations is how much do you want to put on the cover of your book? Because your subtitle is going to go on the cover, and you want it to be something that people can read. So that is something to consider. What other kind of parameters do we typically give people around subtitles? Jacqueline or Melissa?
So what we want to do is, was this the question, I'm sorry, about the length of it?
Yeah, the length of the subtitle.
Okay. So what we want to do is not fill the entire space. Amazon does have a character limit when it comes to subtitles. And if you get too long, you end up on 3 lines on Amazon, which is a little wonky. So we want it to be something that kind of flows and trips off the tongue as you're going. You don't want to be and this, and this, and this. You want to keep it to like 3 solid points if you're going to go that far. So you're, I'm having trouble coming up with an example. Sorry. Melissa, can you jump in with an example of a good solid one that's keyword rich?
Sure. Let me address Kevin McGuire. You have a lot of good keywords in the subtitles that you put on the chat, but you do want to kind of keep it to something that's easy to read and easy to design on a cover, because you don't want a whole bunch of words just on the cover. But let me see what we've got in here quickly.
I might make another quick point is if you are considering what your title and subtitle are going to be, similar to how you would look at your cover design on Amazon, go and look in your category. What is the most, what are the most popular ones that are selling? How long are those subtitles? How descriptive are they? I'm not saying you need to stick exactly to that, because you definitely want to have your unique perspective. But if most of the titles in that have an average of 7 to 10 words and yours is 25, then you kind of know that you maybe have gone too far.
So one really great subtitle we've had recently is for somebody who is writing to people who are about to transition their parents into maybe hospice care, palliative care, that kind of thing. And so the subtitle that she helped us craft with her is Your Bedside Guide for Peaceful Palliative and Hospice Care. It's simple. It talks about more of the personal side of it, because you're going to be at that person's bedside, you're going to be next to them. It does talk about what the actual essence of the book is, how to get into that transition from this is my parent who I've been caring for as they age, to now they're being cared for by professionals, or even somebody who is coming into my home to care for them. So I mean, it encompasses all of those ideas in a short, succinct, but keyword rich subtitle.
Because
Yeah, that's great.
I'm supposed to be doing the audio.
Oh, hold on. I think we've got somebody that didn't get muted on their way in. Sorry.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. We learned a lot in a very short period of time this morning. We are locking down the Zoom meetings. So we've upped our security game in a big way. Okay, and we have the whole team on it too. Everybody has the ability. So thank you guys for coming back. Lots of you have come back. So we're just diving right back into these questions. Angela, did we have somebody that won the 19th comment prize?
Yes, it was Namita.
Oh, yay. Congratulations, Namita. So we have, I don't know what, Mary Lynn, what did you choose for your prize? Oh, you won't be able to unmute. We have you guys locked down, so you guys can't talk.
You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you type it up, that'd be great. Yeah, we don't want any party crashers this time. Sorry. I like to have everybody able to talk to us, but there's trade-offs. And we learned that. Okay,
that was
so
peak 2020 right there.
Yeah, that really was. That was the way to wrap up the year. So Namita, you can choose between our mug or our journal. I have the journal is right here. If you're not familiar with our Oh So Soft journal for writing down all your fabulous book ideas. And then, of course, we also have our hashtag No Boring Books mug, which is proven to make coffee, tea, and hot chocolate all taste better. That's not just from me. I've had so many people say that it tastes better in that mug. So if you want to email us at team@booklaunchers.com with your mailing address, we'll make sure that gets sent off to you. Okay, so there's a couple other questions.
Mary Lynn chose a copy of Don't Retire, Graduate.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
So I got that, and I'll write your name down, Mary Lynn. Gotcha.
Okay, great. Awesome, thank you. And okay, subtitle question, we answered that. When's the best time to work on your title? We generally work on titles when you are, when your book is in editing. Again, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, that you sorry, people are getting password errors for some reason. So I'm not sure what's going on with some people trying to re-enter, but we like to work on it when you're in editing. You can start having a title in your mind at the beginning, but your book does evolve. So we generally don't lock down title until you're in editing and basically moving into layout. Obviously, you can't design your cover very effectively until you have a title. So we don't like to do that. But in our process, we're locking it down kind of, I guess, as we wrap up editing generally.
In general, yeah, we start with the raw keywords that are pulled out of the manuscript when it comes in for content edit. We do all of the keyword category research, and then we start the brainstorming process. And usually it's just going on back and forth as we're doing the editing, and we try to set a deadline of let's get this finished and finalized before the end of proofread. So it's not a mad dash to get it done. It is a thoughtful process with lots of creativity within it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And hopefully that helps, Matt. Now, next question was from Robert about title subtitles. What if you aren't clear on the ideal reader during the first draft? Should you focus more on identifying the ideal reader rather than the content? Oh, that's a good question. I find it's really hard to write the content if you don't have the reader in mind. So if you're not clear, sometimes you can write, like everybody has a different process. So I always feel a little uncomfortable telling you this is how you should do it, because some people kind of have to write to get to the stuff that they really need to write, if that makes sense. They kind of have to start the process by writing, and then they kind of discover what the book is from there. It's an inefficient way to do it though, and the more efficient way to do it is to be very clear on who is your ideal reader and what it is that you're helping them with what your message is that they need to hear, kind of what that outcome is for the reader. So that would be my preference, but there's not one way to write a book. So I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to add to that.
No, I mean, I think that makes sense. I think you actually kind of nailed it. Not everybody writes in the same manner. So, but I would say if you don't have your target reader identified in that first draft, then a large part of your editing process is going to be making sure that the book is more directed to a specific reader. So just keep that in mind that, writing is rewriting. So you'll need to rewrite a lot if you don't have that nailed down at the start.
Yeah. Next question, and then we'll do another prize, is I'm writing a book on my personal and spiritual growth based on my story. I plan on speaking and coaching after I self-publish my book. I'm going to have a website, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. What other websites do you recommend? This is from Tanya. So, I mean, first, I'll actually turn this over to Sarah in a second, but all those sites are fine. My question to you is going to be, where are you really going to focus on connecting and developing your audience? Because especially in the beginning, it's really hard to spread yourself across all those sites. So, that's just a side comment, but, for me, I focus on YouTube. So we're somebody else on the team is, slowly kind of focusing on other social media for book launchers, which, by the way, you can still be entered to win by posting on social media that you were at this fantastic holiday extravaganza with the surprise DJ and everything. So you can still tag book launchers and be entered to win on that side. But generally speaking, for me, like in building book launchers and building that business, I focused on YouTube. And in doing that, we've had great growth there. I find if you try to spread yourself too thin, you won't grow. It won't grow very fast. You won't have that connection and relationship that you can develop by kind of being focused in one or two places. But other websites, I mean, we want you to have an Amazon Author Central account, which builds your Amazon author page. Goodreads is another really good one for you to build out. And then BookBub is another one that Sarah's been spending a lot more time on with clients. So anything else you want to add to that, Sarah?
Really, when it comes to all of that social media, if you're diving into it for the very first time, it can be really hard to manage it and really overwhelming. So your best bet is to choose the one where your audience exists and where your audience lies. Do they use Facebook? Do they use Instagram more? Do they use LinkedIn more? Or are they a YouTube audience? Obviously, for what you want to do is go where your audience is and then build the rest out for there. Make sure you have a strong presence there. when it comes to all of those channels, the one thing that is useful for is media. Media is always going to go and check your social media presence to see what kind of, presence you have. But if you have just, 5 followers here and 6 followers there, it's not really going to do much because maybe you're spread too thin. So I like to build up one really, really well. And then as you find uses in your material, maybe you have material that's more useful for YouTube over Facebook. So, kind of look at it strategically. I'm also a big proponent of, just if you're never going to update it, don't do it, because it's just not going to be useful to you. It's not going to serve you. So make sure that if you are updating it, that it is something that you're going to invest in time to do well. I do have one quick clarification, Julie, on the social media tagging. So I am seeing some tagging, but I'm also seeing just a lot of tagging when it comes to not people are just responding on our existing posts. So for the prize, they need to be making original posts. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
On their own social media, they need to post that they're here and tag us that they're here. So yeah, thank you for clarifying.
And I am checking, you guys. I am looking. So
so you do have a shot to win. Okay, so I'm gonna check my thing. Did we answer Kevin's question? I know Melissa kind of addressed it. Do we have more to say on Kevin's question about the subtitle? He may have overdone the keywords in his subtitle. I know you kind of talked about it, Melissa. Do you think we covered it?
Yeah, it just a bit. It's a little overdone, but if you focus on some of those words, I mean, even the smaller one word keywords can be powerful if you're looking at things like money or Amazon or online. All of those are going to have high search results with low competition. So, I mean, if you really want to hone it in, there's a really great Google keyword planner is fantastic. It doesn't cost you anything to look at what people are looking at, what they're searching for, but it's not going to show you everything you want to see for analytics. It's just going to show you how many searches it's getting in the last 30 days and if it's a high competition keyword or not. So try Google Keyword Planner, plug in some of those keywords that you haven't, or plug in some of your phrasing and see if you can find anything that has high searches, low competition, and it'll say low competition or medium competition or high competition, and it'll tell you how much of a percentage in competition you're going to have with those keywords. But like I said, things like money and Amazon, they're going to be high searches, although Amazon might be a little more competitive than money.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. That helped, Kevin? You can nod. I can see you. Or you could shake your head too. They're both
He said,
options.
cool, thanks.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Now he's hiding. He's putting his hoodie on, so he hides. Okay, a couple questions that are similar. Namita asks about the best time to start social media for her book. It's 4 to 5 weeks away from completion. Or Kimberly also says, my book's about 2 weeks away from publication. When should I start a Facebook author page and a Goodreads site? Sarah, do you want to take those two?
Yeah, so my usual recommendation to people is to get your social media started when you have a cover and a final title and a launch date. And also when you have a website or somewhere to be driving the traffic to. So, ideally your cover and your title and your launch date are going to be solidified, maybe 8 to 12 weeks prior to your launch. So I would start right around then. 2 weeks is a little bit of short if you are starting from scratch. It gives time to build up an audience. You can certainly start any social media earlier. And even if you don't have your cover, what you can be engaging in is connecting with the people that would be potentially interested in sharing articles, news, talking about your topic and like why it's really important. But I generally, we try to have people, talking about it on a regular basis, 8 to 12 weeks prior to launch.
Just as a side note on Goodreads, if you are starting an account from scratch, which if you are, a brand new author and you were a user, a social user, you're going to want a brand new account for your author profile. It does take 3 to 5 days to get everything set up correctly. There's, signing up, and then there's a 24-hour wait period before you can add your own book. And then once you add your book, you have to claim your author profile. And depending on where the weekend falls, it can take, 1 to 3 days to be able to get that. So It's not instantaneous. It does take some persistence to be able to get a Goodreads author account and be able to control your book within it.
Great, thank you. And I think we need to do the prize. So who was the first person to post a picture on social media and tag us? Sarah, who was
That
the first
would
one?
be Josh Ratchless. Josh, I apologize if I misspelled your last or mispronounced your last name, but Josh Ratchless was the first to post on Instagram. I'm at the holiday party for book launchers by Julie Broad, learning how to publish a book while out on a walk in Ottawa. And Julie, I just have to say, he just posted just the best picture.
Oh, really? Awesome. That's great.
Nice screenshot. Yeah. So congratulations, Josh.
Is he here? Did he make it back in?
He did make it back in, and there he is. Hi, Josh. I'll go ahead and there you go. Unmuted.
Hello. This is very exciting. Thank you.
Rackless. I apologize. Thank you for the correction. I'm terrible at pronunciation.
No, it's all right. I worked at an ad agency for 15 years, and my boss kept saying, "Okay, Josh Retschlies." I'm like, whatever. I need a new stage name. When I become a big author, I got to come up with something easy to spell or something. So.
Or everyone will know your last name and pronounce it correctly on the first go.
Yeah, I guess that's an extra challenge. Yeah, like Pete Buttigieg. It's like, okay, you get famous enough, they have to pronounce it.
They have to learn. That's right.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So you have a choice between a mug or a book launcher's journal. Which would you like?
Oh boy. I guess a mug.
All right.
People keep giving, because people keep giving me journals. Like I like Spider-Man. My mom gave me a Spider-Man notebook, but I'm always afraid to write in it because I don't want to ruin it. So I feel like,
I know. I have that with this one. I haven't written in it yet because it's just so nice. But then it's kind of like, what's the point?
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. So if you can email us at team@booklaunchers.com and give us your mailing address, we'll get that in the mail for you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
Also, side note, if anyone is in Canada or outside the US, if you want a prize, we will need your phone number as well for the customs form. So anyone in Canada or outside the US need that phone number as well. Thank you.
Hey, Julie, I'm thinking maybe you should prep them for the next social media. They need to, just because you weren't first doesn't mean if you post it on social media that you won't still get a prize. Julie, you want to preview this a little bit, give them some time?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we're giving the next social media prize will be for the most creative or cool posting that you were here. So you can get your creative juices flowing and still post, and I can always post a second time too. So, still having fun.
Yes.
At the Holiday Extravaganza. So awesome. And I'll check that off. I'm just making sure I keep track of everything. Okay, so we'll answer another question, and then we have another prize, which will be a skill testing question from who watched a recent YouTube video. Okay, Efren has a question about, and I don't know if I've missed any before here. So Angela, if I missed some, you can let me know, but I'm on to Efren's question now. So I used modern and historic examples to illustrate my principles exemplified in the real world, but one vivid example went long. It's not boring. I should devote its own chapter to it for ease of reading, or should I simply nix it since it's not a biography? You know what? Without actually diving into your book, it's a really hard question to answer on the fly. Generally speaking, my filter for all of these things is, does it fit with your hook, and does the reader have to read it in order to get the benefit of the hook of your book? Cool. Okay, so here we go. I'm just scrolling down to catch up to where we're at. So
there was one before his, Julie.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
Sorry to jump in real quick. Let me pull it up. And I apologize if you did answer it. I don't remember you answering it. From Namita, it says, when is the best time to start social media for the book/author? My book is still 4 to 5 weeks away from completion.
Yeah, we did answer that one.
You did? Okay. Yeah. Then we're good.
Okay, cool. And a couple people said they love the YouTube channel, so thank you. That's great. And love. So Evan wants a title opinion. So love to have opinions on my tentative title, Blockchain versus Big Tech. I like it's got a little bit of alliteration. That's always nice. Blockchain versus Big Tech: How to Fix Internet Monopolies with Blockchain Technologies. Ashley, we haven't heard from you. I don't want to throw you on the spot. You've turned your camera off, so you're probably hiding now. But I was going to say, you're welcome to chime in on these titles, being the copywriter in the house, but no pressure. Oh, she can't. She's muted. We've locked her down. She can't talk. I'll try and unmute her. Anybody want to say anything about this title?
I'm sorry, I was monitoring social media. Could you say it one more time?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to find Ashley. If somebody else could try and find Ashley to unmute
I got
her.
Ashley right here,
okay, cool.
and she is.
So the title was Blockchain versus Big Tech: How to Fix Internet Monopolies with Blockchain Technologies. So my first question. Yeah, you're unmuted. So I didn't want to kind of be the first to speak if I didn't have to be, but my first question, Evan, is who's the book for? Because it doesn't come out in that title. I'm not 100% sure who your target audience is. Ashley, do you have something else to ask him? I'll actually unmute. Is he still here? I'm trying to find him. Oh, there you are. Okay. So if you have any other questions you'd ask him?
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Without kind of, I think it's really direct, which is good. You know, you say, this is what the problem is, this is what we're fixing it with. But I don't know who that's addressing right there. Just in the subtitle, I think that would add a lot to it.
So could you guys can hear me? Great.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So the class of people I'm targeting, I know I should be more specific about my target audience, but it's people who watch my YouTube channel and listen to my podcast. And those people are investors or people who work in tech in a really small class of startups that are trying to take on big tech. So I think that's the title might, like someone who cares about taking on internet monopolies and the few technologies that do it, would understand what the title is for. But if I want to hit a broader audience, I don't know if I should mash the keywords together like I did, because that's every single keyword I want to rank for, or if I can make it something more, like flashy and apply to people like just non-tech people.
So the word that popped to mind to me for your audience was people interested in disrupting, like disruptors. So I would probably start playing around with trying to, epitomize who your ideal reader is and stick a word like that within the title to identify who your audience and ideal reader is.
The other thing you could,
that's a good point.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you have that verb there, fixed. If there's something, I don't really know anything about blockchain technologies. So, but if there's something there that can pack a bigger punch with that verb, I think that would, be really impactful as well.
You could also throw in who. So you could say how startups can fix or battle or win. Whatever, kind of to Ashley's point, like it doesn't have to be fixed. It could be how they can battle, how they can win, how they can dominate, how they can, whatever it is. But you could even say startups, or even speak more directly to who is most likely to benefit from this book. I'm happy to have niche books. Like I talk about this all the time. I would much rather you have a tiny little pool that you're focusing on. Like if it's only 10,000 people that are potential to buy your book, but it's 10,000 people that are going to go, heck yes, this book is for me, you're going to crush it. Like that's big, versus people who try to go after a 10 million people. It's harder when you don't have a household name to go after the big names. You can always expand later and have a second book, or even just giving talks or consulting or whatever it is you want to do. The bigger thing is that you're getting the first people to go, that book's for me, and pay attention. So does that help? Okay, cool. thumbs up works. Okay, and Kevin McGuire says even decaf tastes better in the hashtag no boring books blog. That's awesome. Okay, and Allison wants to see the hoodie again, so Angela will have to hold up the new hoodie so when she gets a chance. Well, we'll do another prize. It's a skill testing question from yesterday's video on titles. I want you to name one of the 3 books that we talked about. There was 3 books that we talked about. One was blue. One was kind of a white, and it had a lot of pictures on the cover. Just trying to jog your memories here. So first person to name one of the 3 books that were mentioned in the book on the video on titles and subtitles will be the next prize winner. And I
did Robert Bell get it?
Did he?
think
I don't know.
so.
Let me see. Where'd he
He
go?
said harness your butterflies.
Yes. Yeah. Way to go, Robert. Woo.
Which just happens to be right here. A great career guide for the young professional looking to build their dream career from scratch instead of spending years doing something they maybe don't want to do. So this is an awesome book.
And that is the choice for your prize, Robert. Is that or a copy of They Say I Make Money, So Why Don't I Have Any by Martin Holland.
A great guide for small business owners. Know your numbers, no excuses. This is a book that helps you understand and become fluent in financial statements without needing to understand the math or the math or the numbers. So
and the title's actually The Profit Problem, but I think I just read the subtitle.
yeah, this is the profit problem. Although, Robert Bell, he's an accountant. I don't know if he's going to want this one.
Yeah, you might. You know what, Robert? If you don't want either of the prizes, you can nominate somebody else. It is Christmas, right?
Yes.
It's the giving season. So you can always choose someone else that can
Or
take
as one of our clients, you can also just text me if you want one of our other books. I
That's
might
right.
be able to hook you up.
We can hook you up with something to read.
Yeah.
we won't leave you hanging. So let us know. And Annie W is excited about The Profit Problem. So
It is a very good book.
I think
very
Andy's
solid.
offered, you could send Andy a copy because I think Andy's offered to do video reviews and things like that. So if that's.
He has actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Andy and I have been in touch. He's reviewing some of our books right now.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. So that is that piece. We'll cover that. So where are we at with questions? I've lost because I scrolled down to the bottom to see who our winner was. Okay, good.
It is from Tim, and it says, sorry, let me just scroll back to where it is. How do you make a regional book appear to an international audience?
Appeal
my question,
or appear?
Appeal, I think.
Appeal.
Yeah. So who was that question from?
Tim. It just says Tim.
Tim. Okay. Tim, I'm curious why you feel it needs to. So
let's see.
I think I asked him to unmute, but I don't know. If
I see him right here, so I think I can.
Okay, we're not moving on that. Okay, so the big thing, I asked him to unmute, but it didn't unmute, so I don't know if he's there. I'll just speak generically so everybody can kind of benefit from this. It depends on what your goals are for your book. If you've written a regional book, if it's like a travel guide, then certainly you want it to have a wider appeal. But if you're writing a book that is like, specific to the local market for some reason, and it would benefit the locals, then your ideal reader is the local regional market. And again, kind of to my point, I would rather have 10,000 people who are a perfect fit to read my book and to kind of share it with their friends in that space than to try to appeal to the millions. And part of this is budget. Part of this is, when you have the budget of a big name company, you can go a lot wider and you can reach a lot more people. Everybody is still not your target market. But when you're really focused, and we've had this, I think we saw this really clearly with a couple of our books that we launched this year. One of them was tactical lock picking, and it was for emergency responders. I mean, it was essentially, the fire stations and the fire trainers and those kind of folks. That's a very narrow audience. And yet when Sarah and her team were pitching this book, people were like, yes, 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 yes. I think in that first kind of round of pitches, which often is our learning round, I think we had 60% yes, like this book, yes, we want to feature this author. Somebody even didn't even respond to us and they just posted it on their website.
Yeah.
So the more niche you are and the more specific your audience can be a huge marketing advantage for you versus the more generic approach. That's why I kind of wanted to understand the goals, but I think I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that, Sarah, or anybody else.
I mean, I guess without knowing the topic of the book, it's really difficult to say what would make it appeal to an international market. I would just assume that if it's regional, meaning it's only going to be, when you say regional, I think location, like it's only going to be interesting to New Yorkers, or it's only going to be interested to San Diego people or something. I think you really have to get to the root of why. Why would someone internationally really care about it? And then there is also a big chunk that you have to understand what their market is like in order to kind of break into it. So it's not like just because you can pitch in the US that you can pitch worldwide. There's whole other market there. So really you have to hone in on the why and then write the pitches accordingly.
Yeah, awesome, thanks. And then I'm gonna ask one other question that came in. I don't know if Stuart was able to rejoin.
There he is.
Okay, before all the fun happened, we were in the middle of answering your question. Can you?
You missed the videos on the other channel.
Did we really miss them?
Well, I had to cover my eyes. It's
Yeah, I am so sorry, but we're locked down now.
okay.
So yeah, sorry, we were in the middle of answering your question. Can we go back and ask it again? And then was it you?
Yeah.
I have a handful of other questions. Were these from you that came by
Yes.
email? Okay.
Yes. So the question I was asking was just to get a better handle on search engines in the publishing world, especially in terms of self-publishing, because in the internet website world, it seems easier. You know, the self-publishing companies that I've talked with, you know, they sort of give you 7 words or 7 statements that you can use for the search engines when you register with them. And you have the title and you have the subtitle. And then I assume, but I don't know for fact, that the search engines will check the blurb that you write, introducing the book. So I'm just trying to get a handle on that because I think it's relevant, you know, how people find your book. The search engines are the critical component.
Yeah, great, thank you. So in the order of hierarchy, the title subtitle is given the most weight. And then your descriptions are given weight as well. They don't lay out the algorithm specifically, so a lot of this is from people testing and kind of seeing. But title subtitle does get the most weight, which is why we do keyword research for the subtitle and really focus on trying to get keywords into that title subtitle combination. Those other keyword spaces are a great place for words that don't go into your description. So it's kind of like a final catch-all. And there's a couple of videos on the YouTube channel that really kind of explain those. If I get a moment, I'll try to grab one of the links and I'll drop it in there for the main one to watch. But in terms of weight, everything matters except for the content inside of your book. Google does actually search inside of the books that are loaded into Google Play. But we don't really focus on the inside. We're focused on the editorial reviews. The keywords in those matter. Your reviews will matter, your description, and then your keyword, your subtitle, title, and then those 7 keyword categories that you've put. As far as the other search engines.
Mr. President, I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
That's how you do it in the White House, Mr. President. So the search engines do focus in on the reviews. In other words, is that something we should be conscious of? So, you know, if my best friend writes a review, I should make sure that they include keywords because the search engines are going to reach into them to
Can I
emphasize
speak to that,
what the
Julie?
story is about.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the algorithm is going to scroll your page for the editorial reviews. I think they also look at consumer comments as well, which are those like the ones that if your cousin is going to post a review, that would be considered a consumer review. The editorial reviews, I think Amazon looks at those very similarly to how they do book descriptions, but Julie's right that the weight is more on the title, the book description, than the reviews underneath it. So yes, it matters, but it is less important to have someone who's reviewing your book have a list of keywords there. Because what Amazon's looking for is whether or not it's an honest review. They're going to look at that review to see, they look at that review specifically for how that product or that book made that consumer feel or what it did for them or what their experience with it was. So that's why it's a little bit of a difference. With the editorial reviews, that's marketing material. So Amazon scrolls it accordingly. When it comes to like the Google, you know, for search engines for Google's going to rank according to keywords based on site authority. So that's why very often if you put in a book title, you'll get like a Barnes and Noble or some type of retailer listing before you'll even get your own website, because Google knows that that is a book site that it's a trusted site. So they'll rank those accordingly, which is why your title will matter a lot then.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great point. I just want to bring this up. You may not have noticed this in Amazon, but I just want to point out that Amazon does accumulate words that are consistently used in your book reviews. But in terms of asking, friends and family, et cetera, you're actually not supposed to have friends and family reviewing your book. That's something Amazon does not want. So there's a fine line to be careful of what you're doing on that side. And over time, I think your reviews, when you're asking people for reviews, you'll find that they're generally using similar keywords anyways. But yeah, the weighting I think is really important. The trusted site weighting is really important. So thanks for mentioning that, Sarah. Okay, you also had a couple other questions. So while we're on your stuff, does being picked up by a traditional publisher still carry an air of legitimacy versus self-publishing? I believe very firmly that if you do self-publishing extremely well, so you have to invest in a lot of high quality people all along the way, the reader at the end of it doesn't know. They're not searching for books published by Penguin Random House, or they're not searching for books by another publisher. But the big thing is you don't ever want people to look at your book and go, it was self-published. But for the most part these days, I think there's still some circles that do favor traditional publishing. If you're in the academic space, you have to be published for it to count. And if you want to be on the New York Times curated best-selling list, you are very likely to have to be traditionally published. But I think that it's more a question of the quality now than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, just to back that up, I discovered one of my favorite fiction authors probably of all time in the last year, because I was looking at the Apple Books top 20 sellers for the year and happened to spot an author who was self-published. And I was so interested that I went and checked it out. And then I read her entire catalog. And she was self-published. So she managed to outsell everyone else in her category as a self-published author. I didn't care that she wasn't, and this was a romance writer, so it's a different genre altogether, but I didn't care that she didn't come from Harlequin or, Penguin or something. I just thought, this is someone that's selling a lot of books. I want to learn more about them. So I think it really depends. Julie was very right. It really depends on your topic and what your ultimate goals are. But I think there are so many tools out there for self-published authors these days that you don't have to go to traditional publisher to be able to do well and get credibility in your field.
Just a follow-up, Julie, on that, and it may relate to the person on your staff who deals with the media. The nature of my question is because all of us get advice from people at one end of the spectrum. Older folks who've been in the business say the publisher has some heft to it, and if you can get a publisher, because that's the issue I think we're all struggling with. And at the other end of the spectrum, the younger ones say, technology has leveled the playing field, and so as long as you do it well, nothing else matters. And they're quick to point out that Grisham's first book was self-published. So you have these things. But let me ask the follow-up question is, from the standpoint of trying to generate media coverage or recognition of the book, if someone puts out a press release and they say it's published by XYZ publisher, even if it's a small indie publisher that only does 2 or 3 books a year, does that, from a coverage standpoint, from a visibility standpoint that reporters or book reviewers may give it, does that still, is that where the publisher may carry a little bit more weight than if you self-publish? That's the follow-up question. And you're just trying to get your sea legs because you may not have the option, but if you have the option, is that still a benefit in terms of promoting your book?
I mean, yeah, Sarah's going to answer, but I don't think it's going to matter that much, but there is some weight to big publishers, but indie publishers get on Good Morning America and 2020 and Fox and all the big players all the time. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you're right in the sense that traditional publishers have established relationships. So they have the ability to call the Today Show host and say, hey, Bob, or the booker, and I've got this person and da-da-da. That doesn't mean that the book is going to end up on the show. And it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that it's going to make it do any better. I think one of the best examples we can give is there was a book that we did earlier this year that we created a press release for it. We sent it out to 100 media people, and because of the angle of the book and because of the content of the book and who the writer was, we got him on the LA Times. He was on 2020. He was on Good Morning America. And that solely had to do with the content over how he published it. Not a single one of them cared that it was an independent, author that did it or that it was a self-published. So it's more about the angle, and it's more about what that content is. And honestly, we've gotten clients on big morning talk shows because we have the right news peg to tie it to. That's what media cares about. They care if it's something that's relevant and something that's happening right now. The only caveat to that might be more of the traditional book reviewers.
Yeah.
Okay. So Publishers Weekly, Kirkus, some of those, but in this day and age, because so many of those work on a paid model now as well, those reviews are getting out whether you're self-published or coming from a traditional. So
cool. All right, Stuart, we're going to come back to some more of your questions. I want to give fair time to others, but thank you.
I hope we answered it. I hope that was helpful.
Julie, yeah, Tim actually messaged me privately when y'all were answering his question. The mute was, I guess, glitching. And so he actually, let me pull it back up. He gave some, oh, stink. Oh no, I lost it. There've been so many comments since then. Okay, well, he gave some feedback. It's a true crime and it's specific to an area in Ontario, missing people in Ontario. So he figured it was relevant to Canadian readers. Not sure what you think about that.
Well, we have discovered how true crime fans are quite hungry little bunch.
Yes, I would say for true crime, that is something that can appeal to an international audience. True crime as a genre, people eat it up. So it depends. If it's a well-told story and it has the right angles to it, I can absolutely see it appealing to an international audience. Now, if you were going to tell me that this was a book about, the 10 best places to go eat in Ottawa or something, that, that's obviously a little bit different. True crime just happens to be one of the genres that does transcend.
Yeah. So it's about knowing your keywords and really kind of to appeal to them and knowing the angles of the story that have already been covered and the angle that you're covering that's different. Because if you've got that unique angle, the true crime fans they are unlike any other fan base I've ever seen in terms of the hunger for the material. All right, so let's do another prize. We'll do two right now. So Angela, I'll send Angela off to figure out one, and then maybe Jacqueline can help figure out the other one. So Angela, can you figure out who's been the most commenting, supporting others, giving suggestions, being the most, supportive of others on our chat, excluding, of course, our lovely book launchers team. And then let's take another 19th, because it is December 19th. Let's go another 19th comment, and we'll go from, who do I have right here? I have a comment. Well, Jacqueline, trying to find one that's easy for you to spot. There is a comment from Namita asking, what are your recommendations for author website? Do you want to take 19 comments from that? If you can find that one. The most 19th, the most recent after. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then while they're doing that, I'll comment on the recommendations for an author website. This is something that Ashley works on and Sarah works on. But there's actually, I think, rather than us diving into this, I'll pull the link from my YouTube channel, because really there's a lot that we could cover. And the YouTube video I have actually walks you through some very specific website examples. And I think, I'll let Sarah see if there's like a quick kind of tip you want to give. Otherwise, I'll go grab the YouTube link, because I think that will help.
What specifically was the question? Just
says, what are your recommendations for an author website?
Have one. Have one. Really, my recommendations for an author website, whether you're talking about hosting or design or something, that's really hard to say. Something like a WordPress or WordPress does great. But people use lots of different things. We have people use Kajabi, or they use Shopify, or they use, there's a million options. WordPress is our usual go-to. The most important thing about the website is that it's up to date. It's very clear to the person who lands there what they're there for and what they're going to be getting out of it. You want to have things on your site like your cover, links to retailers to buy, your book description, reviews from readers or any editorial reviews you got, information about you as an author. If you're a speaker, information about you as a speaker, maybe past media or past press you've had on there. If you have other resources that people need to go with your book. So for example, if you wrote a personal finance book, maybe you want to include budget spreadsheets or downloadables, and then things like that. And if you want to make sure that you're able to continue to engage with your audience, building an author email list. Uh-oh.
Sorry,
that's Julie. Okay. It's like, no, it's happening again. Making sure that you have an email list opt-in with some kind of incentive, some kind of fun downloadable for them. So we have lots of examples of great author sites, but if you're really wondering, like, where do you start? Julie's video is going to be a great place to get started. And then go look at other authors that are in your field or other authors that you respect and read and kind of use some of their tools.
That's awesome. Did we get prizes? Did we get prize winners while we were?
Yeah. So in the chat, Josh was very active, but since he's already won, the second person who's done it is, of course, our very own Kevin McGuire. So very
Hey.
Yes.
Who I think he's also already won pretty much everything there is to win. So if you want to designate someone else, Kevin, or if you do want us to mail you something, let us know.
Did you see that casual stretch to show his book launchers shirt on?
Right?
That was great.
He's like, that was awesome. That's what I said. He's won. So he said, go for the third person. Thanks, Kevin. And then I also just dropped a couple links. So I dropped a couple videos in there, which is why you heard sound. I was trying to pull the videos up. And then I also put in the Publisher Rocket link, which is one of our main keyword tools that we use for keyword research. It also makes Amazon ads easier. And then I also put in a link to Dale Roberts' book on keyword research. It is a really, really great book for fundamentals on Amazon research. It makes it very easy for you to understand. And ultimately, he ends up recommending you use Publisher Rocket in the book too. So just want to put all that out there it's all in the chat now. And then question. So, Jacqueline, did you find a winner or was that you?
I did. Okay. Hilariously, the 19th comment was Kevin McGuire, who is all over. The next one on the list was Tim.
Okay, cool, Tim. So if you want to message us at team@booklaunchers.com, you have a choice between the Book Launchers Journal or, speaking of true crime, Killers Keep Secrets by James Huddle. So that's funny. So Sarah, do you want to give us a 2-second overview on that book?
Absolutely. So this book is called Killers Keep Secrets, The Golden State Killer's Other Life. So this book is written by the brother-in-law to the Golden State Killer. He didn't grow up with the guy. The Golden State Killer started dating his sister. The two of them met, became best friends, roommates. They were uncles to each other's children. And so he spent 40 years cultivating a friendship with this man, only to find out in 2018 with the rest of the world that he was a serial killer. So this book is about the other side of the Golden State Killer's life, what it was like to grow with him, and then the warning signs that he now in retrospect thinks back on and what he could have called out back then and dismissed. So he really wrote this book to help families or other people who have questions about people, maybe not to ignore the warning signs. So this is a great book. This is actually the one that I was referring to earlier that we got in the LA Times and on 2020, Good Morning America, all over the place. We were fielding comments right and left, or we were fielding requests right and left for it because of the topic. So, so Tim, yep, I got that one. Setting it aside for you.
Awesome. And then Jacqueline, I know you said there was a question we should answer, but I don't see the question.
Yes, it was about imposter syndrome and
I was
how
going to jump in on that too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah, that
Okay,
was from Ryan. I wrote it down. That was from Ryan Dunlap.
Do you mind if I start?
No, please do.
So Ryan, I just want to say, I'm going to steal a little bit from Julie here. She's definitely one who says, you know, each person brings their own perspective, their own unique experience to each book. So I just want to encourage you, you are the only you out there. You're the only person who has the experience you have, who knows the things that you know the way you know them. So please write them down, please get them out there. And another thing I want to add is, you know, you're constantly rereading your work over and over again. And after a while, it feels like it loses meaning and impact, but that's just because you're seeing it over and over again. People out there who are going to be seeing it for the first time, they need that information. So don't ever feel like you're writing something that isn't going to have an impact, because your perspective, and if you're doing it the right way and getting all the good editors in there and helping you get it shaped and honed into a very good marketable piece of information, it's gonna make a difference for somebody out there. So never feel like you're an imposter. You're the only you out there.
Excellent. That's
Awesome.
great, Melissa.
Drop the mic.
I was like, that was great.
I have nothing to add. I almost always have something to add. That was perfect.
Yeah, the only thing I'll kind of chime in on that was, I mean, besides saying that was spectacular, is really kind of going back to your reader. And first of all, telling you that I think all the best books come from somebody who has imposter syndrome, and the ones that aren't good are the people that thought their book was amazing. You know, they kind of did never go through this imposter syndrome piece, because I think it actually drives you to make a better book. But go back to your reader. You know, whenever I feel like, oh, you know, this doesn't matter, or, you know, who am I to say this? Just remember that reader that you need to have an impact on, and, you know, focus on one person. You know, you don't have to change the world. You can focus on, you know, one person that really needs whatever it is you have to offer. So awesome. Very cool. That was a good question.
I do have that third winner who was the most, you know, lovable person in the chats. So Matt Paceni, he was getting a lot of advice.
Hey, I somehow didn't even notice that you were there, but hey, it's great to have you here. Hello. You're muted. I don't know if you want to say anything. Let's just see if I can find you here. There you are. There.
Hello.
Hello. Great to have you here. And so your prizes, so we've got that one's gone. You can choose between I don't think we actually, did somebody grab the profit problem? I don't think so. I think you still have the profit problem available, right?
Oh,
so you can.
I think we had set it aside for Andy W, but I've got more copies.
Okay. So the profit problem or a book launcher's journal.
Oh, I think I'll go with the profit problem.
Awesome choice. All right. So so I think we've got your information, but if we don't, just send it to team@booklaunchers.com, and then we'll make sure you get the book sent to you. Thank you.
And that's Matt,
Cool.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Congrats.
All right. So I'll cross that off so we don't give away another one. And what other questions do we have?
Okay, I've got some. The imposter syndrome was one of the next ones on the list. And then I believe Jacqueline answered the one about the audiobook. But there was one that came in from Melody, and it says, I don't think we answered this one. Is the book hook used in the title, on the back cover, both, or somewhere else?
So the hook is something that you're going to want to get across in sort of all the materials that you can. So even as far as the cover design, the title for sure, but if you have limited space and you really want to pack it into the book description. And that's one of the things Ashley from our team really works on, is making sure that that hook is super clear in the bullet points and in the description that we're presenting the problem and how this book is going to be different than any other one out there. So book description for sure. Title and subtitle 100%.
Cool. Thank you. I have another question that I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to leave for a second because I have to go to the bathroom. But I know you guys have got this. I just want to note, Ryan, that book has to be written, just so you know. I think everybody's agreeing with that as they're reading this subject. They're going, come on, write that book. And book launchers would love to be in on that one, but but
Accurate.
no matter what, write that book. So the question that I'm going to leave to you guys is from Namita, and it is, I'd like to know how early before launch date should I start with PR and marketing? We kind of addressed this as far as social media, but I think maybe we can kind of back up and make this a little bit about pre-sales and kind of the whole pre-sale strategy, kind of touch on that. And I will be back momentarily.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to this. So, if you caught our deep dive, I think it was just last month, I think it was, Julie was talking about the fact that, with her book coming out in February, she had already started talking to people in her network about it during what we're calling the pre-launch phase. And your pre-launch phase is everything prior to your book launching. So there's your pre-launch phase, and then there's your pre-sale phase. And that pre-sale phase is where the book is available to purchase, but it doesn't yet ship out yet. So for marketing and PR are two different things. Marketing is building awareness around you, your book, your brand. PR is getting media coverage of that. Exactly. And, being out there in the world as far as, media people covering it. Marketing, you can start as early as you're writing a book, and that could be lining up the people within your network. They're going to help promote the book either through purchases or leaving reviews. It could be talking to people in your network that might potentially buy the book in bulk. It could be lining up your book army, which is essentially anyone that's going to be helping support the book through purchases. So you want to start that as early as you can. Sorry, my hat is starting to fall off. Getting your website ready, getting your social media channels ready, readying all of the materials that you're going to be releasing prior to the book. Are you going to be doing blog posts? Are you going to be maintaining an email list? That can start as early as that the book is going to be out there. During the pre-sale phase, when you have your launch date, the book is out there, that's when you're going to be doing the bulk of your PR and your media. That's when you start driving media members to cover the book. So until you have a launch date, it's a little difficult to get that PR set up because you have to be able to drive the media members to somewhere, and they love to cover something that's happening in the here and now. So if the launch is upcoming, they want to be covering it then. So when it comes to your website and your social media and your email marketing list, you're going to start all of that way earlier than you do the pre-sale phase. The pre-sale phase is when you're going to be basically pulling the trigger on all of the strategy plans you've been doing leading up to it. So I hope that helps. I mean, Jacqueline, do you think I've really missed anything there?
No, I thought that you covered it fairly well. I would, the pre-sale period where your book is loaded is also just going to be a time for all of the aggregators to find your book and start connecting it and talking about it and being found on the web. So you definitely need time for, Amazon to figure out how it's going to handle your book, what that traffic's looking like, what search results are getting the best results. And then it starts trying to give you reasons to sell your book. And so you're training it of these kinds of people are looking for this kind of book in that pre-sale period as well, which is good.
I just got a comment on Stephen and Pamela with the dogs that are also participating in the Zoom. It's awesome. That was great. So thanks guys for handling that so I can take a moment. Everybody on my team knows that I drink a lot. I have 3 drinks going right now. so I 2 hours, it's just impossible for me to go 2 hours with a break. Okay, so was there any other questions before I do another prize, Angela, that we should cover?
We have so many questions. I feel like there's just been
besides
so many
like
that have been.
Like specific advice about titles and subtitles, I don't see any like broad questions.
Okay, I do want to throw one to Ashley because she's here, and people probably don't know to ask a question. She's still here. There she is.
I got her, yeah.
Okay, cool. So Ashley is our in-house copywriter. She is fantastic at bringing books to life in book descriptions and bios. She writes social media posts and all of those kind of things. So for all of those folks that are working on their own book description and they don't have the benefit of your brilliant writing, how would you suggest they approach their book description to write a compelling description for their book?
Yes. super, super important. So the first thing I look at, so my process is essentially I go through an author's book and I pick out things that I've never really seen before in another book. So things that are going to stand out, that make your book unique, a certain maybe system you developed, a certain checklist, something that you're not going to get in another book. That's just strictly your perspective. Sorry, you're going to hear cats fighting in the background, possibly. Something that is unique just to your book. Those make really, really great bullet points. And those are things that if someone is skimming your Amazon listing or the back of your book, that's where their eye's going to go first off, probably, are those bullet points. And, you know, if that hooks them right away, you probably got to stay right there. After that, after I kind of develop, okay, this is what makes this book really unique and what's going to make it sell, you have to figure out you should know your hook by then, but your hook, and in those first couple lines, you really want to grab them with that hook and what problem is there and what your book's going to solve. And that essentially is going to hit your target reader right off the bat, and really grab them right away. Get them to realize that they need that book. So something, hashtag no boring books, something that grabs them right off the bat, and it makes them, you know, wow, I really need to read this. This is exactly what I need right now. But that should be in your first couple lines too. And then of course, at the end, you kind of want to wrap it all up. A great call to action at the end is great. Usually in my descriptions at the end, we'll say, get this book, this is what you get out of it. Or this is the problem that you're solving. This is, when you get this book, this is how your life is going to change, kind of thing. That call to action at the end is really going to kind of seal the deal.
And then do you add the keywords while you're writing, or do you go back in afterwards and add the keywords?
I do both, actually. So first, I usually write the description a bit naturally. I kind of skim the keywords. I know what Amazon and Google are going to look for, but I usually write it first naturally and see what keywords kind of popped up naturally. And then I go back afterwards and see what ones I could edit back in. That's probably a process that'll be different for everybody, but for me, it works because it makes it, instead of trying to fit certain keywords into certain sentences and making them sound a little unnatural or not fit the book or the voice or, you know, the actual problem, this makes it a little bit more natural. And then you could go in and kind of fit those keywords in, you know, where it sounds natural and it flows.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley. I didn't want people to not send a question your way they maybe didn't know. So now you might be fielding all kinds of copy questions.
That's okay.
Okay, awesome. Aaron Nanini had asked a question about being 2 months before his book launch and what should he be doing. And I'm just going to try to find him here so I can see him. Is he still here?
Yeah, he's waving.
Okay. Oh, there. Okay, I see you now. So a couple things. One, you should have received your print proof in the mail. Did you? Did you film an unboxing?
I'm holding it up. He better.
You filmed an unboxing. Okay, I'll. You can unmute if you want to. I think I've triggered it. Okay. There. Yeah, I think it just remuted, but that's okay. So first of all, hopefully you filmed your unboxing when your print proof arrives. We use, and then send that unboxing to Jacqueline when you're a book launcher's client. And if you're not a book launcher's client, then, you know, Jacqueline can tell us, what do you use your unboxing videos for?
Oh, I put it on your Amazon Author Central page. So it's one of the videos and photos that you can add. And then I also put a link to it in your Goodreads author account. And so when people are, you know, clicking on the book, it's associated with the book. If they're clicking on you, it's associated with your account as well.
Perfect. I did that. So I'll send that to you later today.
Great.
Fantastic.
And then the other thing, so this is kind of where we're at similar stages. So I don't have my print proof yet, but it's coming. So I'll be doing the unboxing. But my plan I'm doing it after holidays just because the holidays are here, but I'm going to start reaching out to people for the reviews. So I've already, you know, I don't know if Andy W made it back in here, but Andy and Kevin McGuire, and there's like a bunch of the YouTube besties that are here that have already said, I'm there. I know Mike Hurd had said he's there. So these are folks that I'm going to be sending early copies of the book to. They're going to have the opportunity to buy the book for 99 cents so that it can be a verified review on Amazon. And I'm really just activating those people that are going to write reviews for me. That's really my number one focus. And then my number two focus is reaching out to other people that are going to help me promote the book in launch and post-launch to build those relationships. And at the same time, I'm also going to build a little bit of an incentive package for the launch week. So anybody who buys 3 copies of my book, and I saw Carol Sanford is here. She is the master at doing this. So welcome, Carol. But I'm going to create a little incentive package for anybody who buys 3 copies or 10 copies or more of my book in launch week. There will be things that you will receive when you send in your receipt and show us that you bought that. And then we'll be sending you or giving you certain things to go along with it. That's really my focus, along with I'm creating a whole bunch of YouTube stuff, which is kind of separate. Doesn't necessarily be what I would recommend for typical authors. I'm really using this as a test platform for us to potentially help other people with YouTube book marketing. But that's what I would say right now is a really good focus. And Sarah, of course, is your go-to person for this conversation. But did you have anything else you wanted to kind of specifically know about, Aaron?
Yeah, I was just looking at, the number one thing I should be doing. So that gives me 3 or 4 really good things. And then I've got a meeting scheduled with Sarah on Monday morning. So
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we're talking next week, and I'm going to cover with you what we're doing, which is, as a book launchers client, obviously we're putting your media kit together for you. But if someone who is not a book launchers client, you're wondering what to do during, okay, I've got 6 to 8 weeks before my launch. What do I do now? This is when you're putting your social media posts together. This is when you are putting a media kit together for yourself. We start media pitching as soon as I have the print proof. So I just got these a couple of days ago. So I'm going to start sending these out to book reviewers and podcasters who potentially would want to have Aaron on. So this pre-sale time is great because you get lots of lead time to be able to connect with outlets that potentially would be interested in your book. And they need plenty of time. Book reviewers, keep in mind, they need 8 to 12 weeks sometimes. Podcasters can need just as long. In fact, we even book podcasters now that aren't interviewing until next September. Okay, now that's an extreme, but it does happen. So giving yourself plenty of lead time for any other type of press is a really important thing for this time. The pre-sale incentive, Julie's doing a great one. Carol Sanford's on the call, also does this really phenomenally well. But really, what is going to motivate people to buy your book during this concentrated amount of time during this pre-sale phase? And it takes all sorts of formats. I mean, people do partnerships with other authors. They do 2-for-1 deals. They give away signed copies. They do exclusive Zoom chats, for anyone that buys the book on pre-sale. I mean, we have a whole list. They give away swag. I mean, they do all sorts of things. The idea is, what is going to motivate someone to buy your book now compared to later? So.
And my wife got 5 of her friends to buy it last night, so I was happy to get some pre-sales.
Yeah, there you go. Which means you're already ranking on Amazon. As soon as you
get
there you sale, you already get a rank. So congratulations.
Awesome. What's your launch date?
All right, thank you.
He's
her name is Jen.
When your launch date's February
16th.
16th. Yes.
16th.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very exciting. Okay, great. So we've got a couple more prizes. I want to make sure, even though we had a little dance intermission, I'm still going to wrap up right on the top of the hour to respect everybody's time and my team's time, who's been generous enough to give us time on a Saturday. So thank you. But yeah, so the next 2 prizes are going to be questions. So I wanted to give you guys a chance to type in your answers. The first question to get a prize is, what is one thing that we talk about at Book Launchers all the time that your book needs in order to be set up for success? It rhymes with book. So you should get that.
Kevin McGuire got it, but Melody was second.
Awesome, Melody. So you are the winner. And by the way, I saw your comment, Melody. We would have loved to work with you. And it's been 5 years, 6 years now, almost. So maybe it's time for book 2. Just saying, we're here now. Oh, it's coming out? It's coming. Oh, you do have another book. Because I thought you said 2015.
She says still on her first.
Oh, still on her first. Oh, she's still working on her first. Oh my goodness. 5 years later. Oh boy. Okay. Gotcha. Well, we're here. you can ask if we can help you through YouTube anytime. So yeah, so you can choose between, I think we still have a mug and a journal to give away. So if you would like either the mug or the journal, let us know and send us an email at team@booklaunchers.com so we get your mailing address. And then the next question is share your best tip that you learned today. And then we're going to pick from those winners. So I'll give you a minute to do that. We'll answer a couple more questions. And then we have the final prizes of the day. Angela, have you been able to get the names and put them in? So we've got everybody entered. Sweet. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's do one more question. Let's see. We'll do one more of Stuart's, I think, unless there was another one that we really should answer from the live chat. Nothing there? Okay, so I'll answer. So my friends, this is a good question for Jacqueline. It's kind of a numbers dollar question. My friends who have self-published on KDP suggest you shouldn't expect more than $1.50 per sold book after Amazon fees. True? Mostly true? Question mark.
So that would be accurate for like expanded distribution via Amazon. We actually, okay, Julie, that really threw me off.
Sorry. I just wanted to wrap up, you know, in the most festive way possible.
Man, okay. So if you do expanded distribution via Ingram Spark, usually you can choose what your wholesale discount is going to be, but typically you're going to make $5 to $7 if you go that route. So you just, when you load your book to Amazon, choose to not do expanded distribution, and you would load the book with Ingram Spark to push it out to all the other distributors.
Awesome. And then typically, I mean, on a print book, most people are making somewhere between like $4 to $6 on the print books. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if they set the wholesale discount lower, they're able to keep a little bit more money in their pocket, and $7, $8 isn't out of the question. It's if you end up putting it in like all wholesale distribution percentage that's higher, then you end up, you know, with $3 to $5, but you're still doing way better than if you did Amazon expanded distribution.
Fantastic. Okay, so our prize winners, let's see. There was I saw lots of people exclaiming hook. We already did that prize, right? We gave the book. Yeah, we did. Okay, so then the other one is the best tip you got today. I'm looking for somebody who gave us a nice specific tip. I think Allison, I like the put unboxing video on Amazon author page and on Goodreads account. That was nice and specific takeaway that you got from today. So we have some books left, I think. We have Mean People Suck by Michael Brenner. Mm-hmm. We have Be the Hero of Your Life, Ditch the Excuses, Take Your Hero's Journey and Find Your Life's Purpose by Scott McMillan. I think Angela has that copy, not Sarah.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
I don't know if you have any of those handy to show up, Angela. Do you have a Scott McMillan's book? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So Sarah, we haven't talked about either of those. Can you give us a quick blurb on those too, so she can choose?
Absolutely. So Mean People Suck, How Empathy Leads to Bigger Profits and a Better Life. This is a great book for business leaders, but then also employees to learn about how to use empathy and emotional intelligence in your leading style. So it talks about changing the org chart, and then basically why mean bosses, why they suck. So this is a good one if you're interested in business and business development. And then Be the Hero of Your Own Life. I'm sorry, I don't have a copy in my hand, which kind of throws me off, but Be the Hero of Your Own Life is written by Scott McMillan, who is an expert in the hero's journey. And so this book really dives into how every single one of us is on our own hero's journey. And by becoming the hero in your life, you're able to remove obstacles, ditch excuses, and just basically overcome in ways that you hadn't thought you possibly could. It also incorporates quite a bit when it comes to visualization, quantum physics, meditation. I mean, it's chock full of personal development. So really awesome book.
Awesome. So Allison, you can let us know which one you want and then email us at team@booklaunchers.com. So we've got your mailing address so we know where to ship it. And thank you and congratulations. Okay, so we're down to the last 3 prizes today. the most creative or cool social media post as judged by our book marketing manager, Sarah Bean. And then Angela's got all of your names in a draw, and this will be the prize for the hoodie and then a runner-up. So who wants to do what first?
I can do mine first.
Okay, great.
So this one, the best social media post, most creative. Well, unfortunately, she doesn't have her name on her Instagram, which I'm going to tell you to correct, but is the One Life Show Up Instagram account, which featured our book launcher's journal. So thank you so much for throwing our logo out there. She tagged us and really appreciate that. That was
Allison.
also Allison. Allison, put your name on your Instagram.
All right, so you're a double winner. We aren't doing double winners today. So do we have a backup winner, Sarah? Or Allison?
Yes, the backup winner is going to go to Kimberly Gasseris. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. I have terrible pronunciation. Kimberly also did a picture very early on of our Zoom with Julie right there front and center, participating in today's Holiday Extravaganza.
So awesome. I don't know if she made it back, so you might have to message her.
She is here. She's on.
Is she? Oh,
she
okay,
said
sorry.
I said it correctly. Woohoo! Yay.
Awesome. All right. So Kimberly, you have won either a mug or a journal. So let us know which one you would like and then email us at team@booklaunchers.com. And then Angela, you want to wrap it up? We've got that lovely red hoodie. It's really nice and thick, perfect for winter. I suggest ordering it in a size that is one less than you normally would get. Like I said, I'm normally a medium and medium is gigantic on me. So, but yes, so that's the first prize. And then we've got a runner up. So Angela?
So from the name wheel, it shows Paula Johnson.
Yay.
Yay,
So Paula, are you here?
Paula, are you here?
I'm not seeing her.
Oh, you gotta be here to win the hoodie.
Here.
She's here. I'm gonna ask her.
Oh, she's here. She's here. I'm asking her to unmute now.
Oh, great.
Hi. Sorry, I'm not putting my video on because I'm sitting here in my dressing gown. It's early morning in New Zealand.
Awesome. Oh yes, you did make it. Thank you. We did have your question too. Were you here when we answered that question?
No, I wasn't, but I watched the replay.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, we'll post the replay for you. Awesome.
Thank
so
you.
yeah, email us at team@booklaunchers.com and we'll send it on its overseas journey.
Wonderful. That's so awesome. Thank you. It's actually summer in New Zealand at the moment, so I'll put that away for another few months till it's winter time.
The way mail is going these days, it'll probably arrive just in time for winter.
True. Well, that's awesome. Thank you.
And then we have a runner-up. So Angela, who is number 2?
Angela's muted. I just asked her to unmute.
There we go. Sorry, hold on. Let me pull up the page. It is Namita.
All right.
Yay,
awesome.
Namita.
Congratulations. So Namita, you have a few things to choose from. I actually don't know if the journal or mug got chosen last. What got chosen?
The mug did.
The mug? Okay, so we have the journal left. Yeah. So are you good with the journal? Otherwise we have Mean People Suck, or I think we have Mean People Suck.
We have Harness Your Butterflies too.
Okay, Mean People Suck, Harness Your Butterflies, or the Book Launcher's Journal.
I chose the journal. What's the other two? I'm sorry.
Oh, the books.
Do you see Sarah? I think she's holding them up for you. One is
Here
Mean
I
People
am,
Suck.
here I am.
Yeah, Mean People Suck or Harness Your Butterflies. But the journals, if you're happy with the journal, that's great.
I'll take the. I'll let Sarah pick and send me a book.
Oh, do the journal. Yeah, do the journal. I'm happy to.
I already picked the journal for another. Yeah.
Oh, I see. You got the journal coming already. Okay, great. So,
do you know a young professional in your life? Young professionals metamorphose to exciting career. And actually, this is a really good read if you're just looking for learning about strength-based, learning how to become more of a strength-based person and just personal development overall. I think this is a great one. All right, you got it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for coming back and joining us for Holiday Extravaganza Part 2 today. This will be an interesting edit job that I'll have to do
Yes.
to create the replay for this. But yes, thank you so much. If you can join us on Tuesday, that will be when we'll be giving away. So all of my YouTube besties are going into a draw for the hashtag No Boring Books backpack. But we'll also be giving away a backpack to somebody who attends on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at booklaunchers.tv. We're having our 25,000 subscriber party, which also happens to coincide with the end of the year. So Book Launchers is closed from the 24th until January 3rd. We're back at it January 4th. So this live stream will be our last live stream of the year until we kick back in January. So huge shout out. Thank you, Sarah, Angela, Ashley, Melissa, and Jacqueline for being here, giving us a Saturday when we're crazy busy this time of year. So I'm super duper grateful for you to be here. And then thank you to all of you for participating and making this a really, really fun holiday extravaganza. Yeah, it was great. So I really appreciate it. Happy holidays, everybody, and Happy New Year. And hopefully see you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. at booklaunchers.tv. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye, everybody.